Canada is well known as the land of opportunity. For this reason, many immigrants apply to enter the country every year. However, the biggest question here is if these opportunities offered to those immigrants are exactly the same as when they arrived at this new country. The first step is to understand the ways immigrants can afford to enter into Canada.
Typically is done through one of two ways. There are people who are applying for permanent residence or people who come temporarily, and then through their temporary status may decide to stay on permanently and seek a permanent route to remain in Canada. So you do see a lot of people who come in as international students or foreign workers who eventually follow that stream to be able to remain permanently in Canada.
I first came to Canada as a student. It was a program called Student Work. It was for 8 months, 4 months studying and 4 months working. I don't think that program exists anymore.
My family is born in Vietnam. They moved to Indonesia where they gave birth to me in a refugee camp, and from there we moved to Canada.
We came in through a skilled worker program. At the time there was a list of professions that Canada required or desired or needed, and physiotherapy. We're both physiotherapists, so physiotherapy was on the list.
Immigrants have a few different ways to apply for residency here in Canada, so many people assume that it's easy for them to get this opportunity, right?
It's extremely difficult right now. So under Express Entry, it's a points-driven stream. So the first step is to create a profile, which is put into the Express Entry pool. When you go into the pool, you're basically expressing your interest in immigrating to Canada. The problem with the pool is the way that the government has set it up to measure the amount of points you can earn. So if I was interested in going into the pool, first I'd have to make sure that I was qualified under one of 3 programs that are within the Express Entry umbrella, so to say. So there's the Canadian Experience class, which is based on having 1 year of skilled work experience. There's the Federal Skilled Trades program for anybody who does have trades experience, and there's the Federal Skilled Workers program, which tends to be used more by people who are outside of Canada who want to be able to come in on the basis of their skilled work experience abroad.
When you hear those stories, oh, they need engineers, oh, they need whatever, nurses or whatever profession, you would think you come here and on the very first day you would find a job and you would start working in your profession, but that's not the way it works.
And I find that with a lot of other immigrants coming here, they leave their job titles behind because the jobs here don't accept their qualifications.
When you come as a skilled worker, you come because you have one specific profession, in our case physiotherapists. And then we knew that we were going through a process to have our license that is checking all your education program.
But we don't know how is it applied to suit the system here. Mm-hmm. So you have to learn that on your own.
You come because you're a physio, and then you come here and like, okay, now I can't work as a physio for how long? And we didn't know that it's gonna take so long. So 5 years later, we're still working on that.
They open the doors, but it's not fully open, let's say that way.
I think with our changing government, with the Liberals now in power, we are going to be seeing changes in that respect. And one of the things that they did say when it was the election time is that they were hoping to change that. So hopefully we'll see some changes because it's very unfair at the moment, the way it's designed.
Even being the land of opportunities, do Canadians have knowledge on how difficult it is for them to be a part of this nation?
I think a lot of Canadians they're misled maybe by the media or whatever it may be to the types of immigrants that are coming to Canada. Canada has always been a very welcoming country of refugees, and it's a great part of our heritage, but that's one small slice of the pie, right? And a lot of bad media attention is placed on that right now.
I think they have limited awareness of what people are actually facing.
Our paycheck is exactly the same as a Canadian was performing our job. Exactly the same. We pay the same amount of taxes. We don't get any money from the government. If you want a place here, you have to pay the proper taxes, you have to pay everything. The government has some programs for immigrants, they help, but it's not money on your pocket.
I find that it's so prominent still, like the prejudice and the stereotypes that immigrants face each and every single day. You always hear about hate crimes, and you hear about other people not wanting immigrants to come here anymore because they're having trouble finding jobs and they don't want immigrants to take those jobs from them. So they feel a little bit more entitled to get certain privileges.
They have no clue how beneficial it is to have the level of immigrants that Canada is importing.
And even if we could get people who were in other parts of the country to go to centers that do need more workers, we would still need immigration. The fact of the matter is we don't have enough people to staff the positions that we have.
So I actually think that Canada is Canada because of the immigrants, because we bring fresh air every time we come in.
It's not perfect yet, but I still think it's worthwhile to come here and to be able to make that change happen so that when newcomers come here, they'll feel at home and that they'll be far away from whatever they're running away from.
I think it's well worth it. I left my country despite being away from family and friends. I would do it again.